In accordance with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, this channel is not to be viewed by children under the age of 13. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey everybody, Dragon King Mark here, and welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. Last we left off, we went back to Kindly Chang. Well, after talking with Kindly Chang and officially being able to access all of Haoi, we mostly spent the entire episode talking to everybody. Almost. We still got to talk with our crew. But we talked with all the important people we need to go and see. And we got a pretty good idea on what we needed to do. So now we're going to go back to our base and talk to our team. Ah, there it is. The safe boat. Mission computer and down the hatch. Hello. Let's look at his room. Here is our basement. Our friend who lives down in the basement, Rocketer. That name should sound familiar. It's from Lucky Strike. It's oppressively hot down here, and the air is full of synthetic odors that grab you by the sinuses and refuse to let go. You can smell engine grease and melting plastic, ionized air, and lead solder. A quick scan of the room tells you why. The downstairs tenant has converted this space into a machine shop. Metal fabrication tools and Duraplast extruders line the walls, and a pair of heavy industrial manipulators hang from the ceiling. A man in a black trench coat stands with his back towards you, staring at a monitor mounted above a sturdy workbench. He addresses you without turning. Ah, I was wondering when I'd meet the new neighbor. His voice is pleasant, cultured. There's a hint of a Russian accent in there, but it's buried under layers of nuance. Please stay where you are. I'll be with you in just a moment. And unless you fancy a unplanned trip to Chrome Alley, don't judge anything. There are all manner of tools in here that could take your hand clean off. Thanks for the warning. Don't mention it. I have no interest in seeing anyone hurt in my shop, especially not my upstairs neighbor. Try to see what's on the screen. The feed on the monitor looks like some sort of design software. You can see what appears to be a slim, spidery appendage in orthographic and perspective views. Very good, yes? That's coming along nicely. Very nicely indeed. He turns towards you, smiling. For the first time, you can see his face. He has broadly handsome Slavic features and a chiseled jaw. His eyes are like flecks of ice. I'm so sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Shenlong. Good to meet you. And you as well. Now tell me, what can I do for... His voice trails off as a flash of motion catches his eye. With alarming speed, a sinister-looking drone scuttles out from under the work table. Its movements are surprisingly agile and fluid. The machine rears back menacingly, spreading its forelegs in a clear sign of aggression. The man's smile tilts, and his tone goes apologetic. Please don't mind the drone. He can be territorial. But so long as you remain civil, he will not bite. He extends his hand. Simultaneously, the drone relaxes into a neutral position, lowering its killing legs. Ractor, my mechanical counterpart here is called Cochise. Or Koche. A pleasure. His hand is rough and abnormally warm to the touch. He shakes your hand with a solid grip. I am very pleased to meet you, my friend. In a community such as Haoi, it is important to be on good terms with one's neighbors. Agreed. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask you some questions if you have the time. He glances at the bracer in his forearm. A technical display winks to life, then gutters out. Very well. This morning's casting should still be cooling for a few minutes yet. That's time enough to talk. Cochise is a very interesting name for a drone. Yes, I suppose that it is. Not many riggers would name their most prized possession after a villain from a fairy tale. That's my heritage, I suppose. Yeah, I know the story that you're talking about. If you remember the game Yaga about Koche, that undead lich thing that we fought, that's basically where the story's from. His smile widens. Oh, how marvelous! I hadn't thought to meet anyone here versed in the Russian classics here in Haoi. I've studied. If memory serves, Koche the Deathless was an immortal villain and a kidnapper of women. He nods. Indeed, he was those things, but it was not Koshei's misdeeds that drew me to the name. I don't know if it's Koshei or Cochise. So, I think Wasteland 3 referred to it as Cochise, but it's mostly Koshei. I suppose that it was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated with me. There was something to be learned from that, I was sure. And so, when it came time to name my beloved creation, his was the first name that came to mind. And your drone is deathless like its namesake? In a manner of speaking, I suppose that he is. I have redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on a disk in a secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had a plan once to automate the self-repair process. I must confess, it was really quite ingenious, but alas, my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it, and Koshei will become as deathless as stories claim. But it will not be today. I like you. If you remember, I think Lucky Strike mentioned a Raptor in Dragonfall. Here he is. When you said this morning's casting, what did you mean? Exactly what I said. A casting that I made of a new locomotive assembly for Koshei. He gestures at the display above the work table. A biometric design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a stechopod crustacean. The mangrove crab, to be precise. That's fascinating. And will this new leg assembly make your drone more effective? That remains to be seen. But there is more to life than combat effectiveness, is there not? By fabricating new components for Koshei, I unlock options, different ways of being, even the failures, and there have been many, have value in this context. How'd you learn how to do all this? More training and experience than I care to mention. He offers you a wry smile. Drone architecture was once my profession, you see. Now it's more of a calling, one that I'm free to pursue, now that I've freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude. You've got something interesting machinery in here. Not the kind that you typically see outside of corporate settings. He smiles. The same could be said of many in Heioi, I'm sure. This is a smuggler's den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things that they shouldn't. Is there any particular device that interests you out of the curiosity? I'm mostly interested in that drone you have there. Koshei? Ah, but my friend, you are wrong. You will never find his like in any corporate factory or lab. He is mine. My own creation, from the top of his sensor cluster to the tips of his claws. I designed him, fabricated his components, and built him by hand. Impressive. He shrugs. No more so than anyone else would follow in his passions and perfect his crafts. Are you Russian? I thought I caught a hint of an accent there. He nods. You have a good ear. I'm impressed. Yes, I grew up in Nizhny Novgorod. Went to school there. Started my career there in the industrial sector. A fairly common story, I'm sure. But I've also traveled a great deal, and in so doing, I've absorbed a number of other dialects and languages and dialects. How many languages do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese? 15. He shrugs apologetically. It shames me to admit that I'm only literate in 12, however. That's still impressive. Holy shit. Perhaps when compared to the common man, but I've known a great many polyglots who can and do put me to shame. He gives you another half shrug, and Koshei mirrors the gesture. Arabic has been a particular bugbear of mine. The unfamiliar characters and lack of vowels make it damn tricky to get a handle on. But I suppose that all men have their limits. You said they used to work for a corp. Whose payroll were you on? He sighs. That is something of a sore subject. My departure was involuntary, you see. I did not part ways with my employer under the best of terms. I will tell you that I work for Grecian Aviacorps, but you'll forgive me if I don't want to go into detail. Keeping all of this machinery running can't be cheap. How can you afford it? Freelance. At the risk of sounding immodest, I've commodified myself rather well. There's always corporations in need of design consultations. You'd be surprised by how lucrative such work can be. And there is always other work that I can turn to in a pinch. You said that you did other work besides consulting. Care to tell me what that kind? He pauses for a second, something flashes in his eyes. Cochise lowers his body into a crouch. A rather personal question, wouldn't you say? Maybe. But then we're having a personal conversation. Indeed we are. But even in personal conversations, certain topics can be held off limits. Truth be told, I don't feel especially comfortable discussing my side work with relative strangers. Suffice it to say that my freelance activities often fall on the illicit ends of the spectrum. Tell you what, just gonna take a guess. You're a Shadowrunner, aren't you? He gives you a shallow nod. I dislike the term, but yes, I run the shadows. What gave me away? Your drone. People on the up and up don't build murder bots for fun. He shakes his head slightly and a sad look on his face. Such a reductive assessment. I assure you, you're selling my little counterpart quite short. Koshei is combat capable, very much so. But that is far from his only purpose. Koshei scurries forward, its glowing red eyes low to the ground. Light glints off of the metal of its armored chassis. Rector runs a hand over the drone's killing legs, caressing the sculpted metal with his fingertips. With that being said, I cannot deny that Koshei's aptitude for butchery is important to my work. Should you ever get the opportunity to see him in action, you will understand why. Seems like everybody on this boat runs the shadows. Why not pull our resources and work together? He purses his lips, considering. A compelling offer. I'm doing quite well on my own, but I must admit that there are certain jobs for which I am unsuited. Magic still eludes me, I am not a decker. My strength comes from the material objects in the real world. Solid things with mass and heft, things that I can build and operate. Sadly, a great many clients are only interested in teams that display a mastery over the intangible. This group of yours, do you have people who can cover those bases? If so, then perhaps we can help each other out. Yeah, we got a shaman and a decker, both competent at their jobs. In that case, I will accept your offer on a provisional basis. We'll do a few runs together and see how we get on. If our association bears fruit, it will continue. If not, I will bid you my farewell and go back to working alone. How's that sound? Welcome aboard. Very good. Excellent. When you receive a job, you will know where to find me. My skills and resources are at your disposal. And with that, I'm afraid I must bid you good day. I still have work to do down here. This leg assembly won't come itself. I'll be in touch. Looking forward to working with you. And I with you. So yeah, this is actually how you get Raktor. You can go the entire game without getting him. I just realized that. Okay. Increased speed or accuracy? Let's see. Predator or Mangler? Hmm. Three. Overclock. Now it gives the target drone 2 pay 2 move for 1 round. All Koshei's firearm systems now pierce 2 armor. Clawed feet. Ooh. Firearm system is augmented with additional of a heavy laser mount. Or new ability where it latches on and tears away armor at the target. Strips 4. Yo, we can get our glory here. Let's go with Predator first. Having extra accuracy is going to be useful. So what I've been doing, not a whole lot. I actually thought that I actually thought I was gonna have a doctor's appointment this week, but it turned out I didn't have anything scheduled. I was stressed out for nothing. Duncan, Wu's cabin appears to be the only clean spot in the bolt hole. His equipment is neatly laid out on his bedding, grouped by type, arranged just so. He's currently in the process of cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Oh, that's that, I guess. We're runners now. Yep. Think it's time to catch up? Could be. He stops for a moment, stares at the weapon in his hand. That's why I'm maintaining my equipment. It helps me focus my brain. Work your stuff. He sighs, lowers the rifle. Now's as good a time as any, I guess. Where do you want to start? I want to talk about Raymond. Okay, shoot. What do you think's going on with him? I don't know, Shun. He was clearly obsessed with the walled city and whatever prosperity is. He sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. A sleepwalker who has Shadowrunners. Whatever he was doing, he knew it would be dangerous. Raymond was smart. Smart as hell. If he thought he needed runners to take him into that place, he needed them. Why'd you think he came to Hong Kong? Well, he's from here, right? Sounds like he had unfinished business that he needed to take care of before. You think he's dying? I don't know. Yeah, me neither. Just something to think about. Did he say anything about me after I left? No, Raymond, Shen. He taught us what he wanted to teach us. Told us what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it's out of your mouth, it's out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you. Not a word. Damn. Let's talk about something else then. Sure, ask away. Let's talk about being Shadowrunners. What's there to say? Worked my ass off to pull myself out of the gutter and make something of my life. I did what it took to earn my bronze, and now I'm a mercenary hiding in the shadows of a foreign country, doing dirty jobs that the corps need to keep off the books. It's the reverse of everything I ever wanted. You seem to be taking it pretty damn well, so let me ask you something. You said you thought that Raymond was alive, too, and we'd run the shadows until we could figure out what happened to him. Is that true? Yeah. For me, this is all about finding out what really happened to Raymond. Who not? Clearly satisfied. Good that we're on the same page. I feel better knowing that. What's your opinion of Connie Chang? I'd say she's got us right where she wants us, right under her thumb. What do you want to talk about specifically? What do you think she wants from us? As long as her network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care. At least for now. We need to stay with her. We have no other connections in Hong Kong. Without her, we're dead in the water. Think we can trust her? Try a boss an underground fixer? No, I don't think we trust her. But as long as we all share the same goals, we should be okay. Makes sense. As long as we serve her interest, she doesn't have a reason to screw us over. Exactly. It's simple. She provides jobs, we do jobs. She gets info about Raymond and that plastic-faced man, and we figure out what the hell's going on. We figure out what's going on, and she doesn't end up on the trunk of a car at the bottom of the river. Everybody wins. What about this plastic-faced man? Creepy dudes are nothing new to me. Even well-dressed, creepy corporate dudes. Between the gangers we grew up with and the shit that I've run into as a cop, I've seen all kinds. I just want to know who he is and who he works for. Fair point. We should keep an eye on Strangler Bao. We should keep an eye on everybody, and that guy's definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cold killers in that Barrens, and plenty more since I joined Lone Star. This guy's the real deal. I'm not sure if he knows what the word remorse even means. You should steer clear of him. I'll be careful. I can see that. Alright, talk about something else. Goblin and Isabel? They seem competent considering how young they are, but then again, they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they were pretty young. The three of us work together well in the walled city. Based on that, I bet the four of us can make a solid crew. Do you trust them? As far as I trust any runner, yeah. Like Raymond used to say, trust and verify. They haven't given me a reason not to trust them, so until they do, I believe what they'll say and keep my eyes open. I can't get that dream that I had on my head. You said you had one too, right? Yeah. Yours sounded like a nasty one. I don't remember much of mine. I was pretty creeped out by our run into the walled city. Between that and all the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a nightmare. What do you remember about yours? Just little snatches of things. He puts his hand to his hips and concentrates. The walled city was breathing, and it had teeth everywhere. There was a tunnel that was so bright that I had to shut my eyes, and Raven was there. He was either kneeling or lying down. I can't remember which, but he was crying. That's what made me wake up. It sounded my father crying. What was the walled city in your dream? Of course the walled city was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? Gives you a lopsided grin. What's in your dream? Was it in your dream too? Sure looked like it. I'm not sure I'm surprised. The walled city is more than just another slum and a sprawl. Hell, it is a sprawl. course we dreamed about it. The feeling I had there has stayed with me. It feels thick, heavy. I got this overwhelming feeling of, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess? Did it feel any different from other nightmares you've had? He takes his time, thinks about his answering a bit before he responds. You know, sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then you wake up still mad at him? Then you treat him like he did something wrong to you when you see him? Kind of feels like that to me. Like I dreamed I was swimming toward a bright light, and when I woke up, I was out of breath from the effort. Talk about something else then. Alright? Well, let's talk later. Later's good. I want to do some cardio, work on some steam, then it's rack time for me. You should do the same, Shen. A couple hundred push-ups would do you good. Please, I could bust out 200 in my sleep. He raises an eyebrow. I'd love to see that sometime, but for now, you should clear out. I want to get started, and this cabin isn't big enough for two. I don't think this cabin's big enough for Orc. This cabin, I think, is hardly big enough for Orc, but it's kind of spacious. I mean, look at mine. I have a rug. You want to talk about space? Look at mine. You just keep yours clean. So yeah, I didn't have a doctor's appointment, so now I have scheduled a physical for next month. Hey viewer. Isabel's cabin is an exercise in controlled chaos. Her living space is utterly dominated by an enormous jury-rigged computer. Serpentine cables snake from component to component, tying dozens of obsolete terminals and cyberdecks together into a single colossal machine. This is my personal machine. If you're looking for your mission computer, it's downstairs. She doesn't bother looking up. You can see that she's elbow deep in the guts of an obsolete cyberdeck, one of a half dozen that has been wired into a computer with braided cables. Actually, I was someone to talk to you. Got a minute? There's a long pause, then she chirps out a response. We're talking now, aren't we? I guess so, yeah. Can I ask you a few questions? She leans in, scrutinizing the innards of an obsolete deck. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. That's quite a machine you're working on. Care to tell me about it? She's my pet project. I call her the Octopus. She waves a hand at the tangle of thick power cables that radiate out of the machine's central core. You might be able to guess why. Impressive work. How well does it perform? She's a monster. She yanks a fried chip from the deck's motherboard and neatly sets it aside, then fumbles it in the nearby bin for a replacement. An absolute beast. What is this thing made of? Whatever I could find. Busted terminals, obsolete cyberdecks, aftermarket memory from Maximum Law's dumpster. Scavengers were killed for this stuff in the walled city. Out here, people throw it away. She chuckles to herself as she eases a card into an empty expansion slot. Most deckers are early adopters. They buy whatever's newest, shell out hundreds of amounts of new in hopes of riding the bleeding edge. Stupid. Why? Because I can have 5 of the last year's model for a quarter of the price of that whiz new cyberdeck. And after I finish daisy chaining them together, the machine that I built will run circles around your hot new deck. Makes sense to me. Good. That's a good sign. Shows that you're thinking clearly. Frowning, she yanks a stick of memory from the old deck. So, was there anything else that you needed? What about your portable gear? Your cyberdeck software, that kind of thing? Gets the job done. Might not be top of the line, but I'm comfortable using it in the field. If you should happen to come across any more advanced hardware or software, either on the job or on the discount rack at Lost Techno Palace, I'm not above taking donations. But barring that, I'm fine with using what I got. Your call. Have you been having weird dreams recently? Her body goes still. Yes. I think that everybody has. Me too. I've been having horrible nightmares. I know. It happens more often than you'd think. She tilts her head in the direction of the walled city. This kind of mass psychosis was common where I grew up. Everybody got it. Mass psychosis? Seems more like magical phenomenon to me. The voice quickens. I don't really know what it is, and I don't think I want to. I just want to work on my computer in peace. Can we talk about the ambush at Victoria Harbor? I'd rather not. I lost friends there. Duggan and I didn't come to the attack unscathed either. They shot Carter down, same as your friends. Was she your friend? You didn't seem that close. She returns her attention to the octopus, turning her back on you. I'd like to get to know you better. Tell me something about yourself. Something? She pauses for a moment. Okay, I don't like small talk. Does that count? Yeah, of course. If you don't want to talk, we don't have to talk. Thanks for not pushing it. It's nothing personal. I just don't think that I'm a very interesting person. You don't like talking about things other than your computer very much, do you? She's me! Jesus Christ, she's freaking me! There is a long pause before she responds. When she does, she sounds vaguely hurt. I prefer not to. Nothing personal. It's just the way that I am. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know who I'm running with, don't you? Yeah, yes. You're still a mystery to me. There was a long pause. I don't like mysteries, but I do enjoy solving them. She turns, gives you her full attention. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask you a question, something personal. After you give me an answer, you get to ask me something. Think of it like a game of questions. You take turns until one of us wants to quit. Deal? Deal. You go first. Ask away. She studies your face. We'll start off easy. Tell me what you really think of Duncan. Well, I love and respect the man. He's family. She cocks her head inquisitively. I've heard that how you abandoned him back in Seattle. That's love. You got a funny way of showing it. Well, you've answered my question. I guess that makes it your turn. How long have you been running the Shadows with Gobbet? That's a good question. I guess about 4 years now? A decent stretch by anyone's reckoning. And that would make it my turn. She pauses, considering. So tell me, what was your connection to Radiant Black? He was like a father to me and Duncan. He got us out of the Barrens. In that case, I'm sorry for your loss. Losing the ones that you love is hard. Your turn. Ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. How did you and Gobbet meet? Her brow furrows, and after a moment, she screws her eyes shut. We met as kids in the walled city. My prison was her playground. Sorry if that was uncomfortable for you. No, it isn't that. I'll be fine. She shifts her gaze to the octopus. I just have a hard time remembering those days. My childhood is kind of a blur. And that brings us back to my turn. She gestures at the cabin walls around you. You enjoy it, don't you? Living like this. Working the shadows. This is survival. I do what I have to. Enjoyment doesn't come to it. She blinks. We may have more in common than I thought. Your turn again. Go ahead and ask me something. Where'd you learn how to deck? The Wampoa. I lived there for a while after escaping the walled city. The people there were difficult. We didn't get along, but it was a great place to learn. My turn again. Her head tilts as she studies your face. And I think my last question for you. You're stuck here, marooned, you and Duncan both. He's obviously unhappy with the situation. Keeps going on and on about how the things he left behind. But what about you? Anything that you want to get back to? Yeah, I left something important behind my entire life. You've still got a life. It might not be the one that you want, but you got it. Considering what went down on the docks, that's saying something. She glances down at the clock on her desk, an antique model with physical hands that look like it was wrenched out of a submarine. A frown spreads across her face. Shit, it's even later than I thought. I've still got a long way to go before the octopus is fixed. She begins to turn away, her attention fixed on a stack of partially disassembled cyber decks that waited in front of her. Hang on, Isabel, you still owe me another question. She stops in place, fidgets. That's true, go ahead. I need you to tell me what you can about the walled city. Her voice goes cold. Why? Because Raymond Black wanted to go in there and somebody destroyed my life to keep him from doing that. Her cheeks flush, just like they did the last time. She averts her eyes. No, I'm sorry, but no. Later maybe, but not now. You owe me an answer, Isabel. That's how this game works. Yes, but... Looking, she turns away and buries herself in the octopus's splayed innards. Please excuse me, I have work to do. Dang! Talk with her again. Come back later, Senshin, I'm busy. Figured as much. Gobbet's nest is pretty much what you'd expect. Piles of clothes on the ground, an overflowing garbage bin surrounded by stacks of instant noodle packets and towers of tinned oysters. Avant-garde posters haphazardly thumbtacked to the walls, overlapping in some places and peeling in others. Feels a lot like an art school dorm room. Gobbet reclines in a corner, cradling a bowl of soup in her hands. At her feet, a cast iron pot simmers away in an electric hot plate. The contents are typical Hong Kong comfort food. Chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored miso protein. As you wind your way through the piles of dirty laundry, Gobbet slowly lifts her head from her bowl to acknowledge you. Hey, Seattle. She chews on the words along with a mouthful of cheap pasta. The corner of her mouth curls up into a half smile. How's Trix? Things have been better. Things have been worse. That's the attitude. Very stoic, very strong. It's downright inspiring. She skins an oily slab of fox ham off the top of her soup and pops it into her mouth. Now, you want to tell me what you're doing in my bedroom? I assume you're not here to admire the view. How'd you decide on the name Gobbet anyway? I didn't. She pops a noodle into her mouth and chews. My mom did. So, Gobbet is your given name. Your mother named you after a wad of meat? She shrugs. Yeah, sure. I don't think she knew what it meant. She just thought that it sounded pretty. You should get used to that, by the way. People in Hong Kong learn to stand out, and choosing unique names is one of the ways that they do it. At least they're not like all have Chuny brain. Thank God for that. Have you had any nightmares recently? Like bad ones? Her jaw stops working mid-chew. Slowly she nods. Yeah, I have. We all have. Everyone in town. Me too. And Isabel. We both just had the same nightmare. Let me guess. You saw the walled city in a black whirlpool and teeth. Thousands and thousands of teeth? She holds up a hand. You don't need to answer. I already know that I'm right. Because I just had the same dream. Creepy, I know. Her voice goes quiet. The dreams are coming from inside the walled city. I'm sure of it. All the negative energy penned up in there. All that pain and anger and poisonous ki. It's leaking out. And while we sleep, it's getting into us. If you're so sure of that, why stay and cool on? Why not pick up and leave? Oh, I was planning on it, but now with the APB in place, Auntie Cheng is the one thing standing between us and a bullet in the head. Believe me, I'd leave if I could, but I'm a lot more frightened of the HKPF than I am of a few bad dreams. These dreams can't hurt us, right? I'm glad that one of us isn't terrified by this. She tries on a smile, fails, does her best to laugh it off. Don't worry, Seattle. We're fine here. But, let's talk about something else, huh? I don't like thinking about the walled city very much. Too many old fears and bad feelings. If you're up to talking about it, I wanted to go over the ambush back on the docks with you. Yeah. She nods slowly, frowning. Yeah, I figured you would. That was one hell of a thing, right? I'd go a little further than that. It was a clusterfuck of epic proportions. She nods. Yeah, that was. Nightjar and Gutshot were two of the strongest men I've ever known. Quality Shadowrunners, both of them. I watched those two fight through situations that kill anyone and come out on top. How'd they go out? She mimes holding a rifle, makes a show of peering down the scope. Bang, bang, dead, dead. No blaze of glory, no final speech, just extinguished. Smashed like bugs. We would have gone the same way if you hadn't gotten us out of there. She absentmindedly raises her bowl to her shoulder. A rat claws over the slope of her back and lowers its head to lap at the broth. It was more rat than me. She's the one who grabbed me by the gutter and led us to that sewer entrance. All that I did was follow. I'd like to learn more about Rat. What kind of totem is she? She slurps thoughtfully at her soup. A clever one. She's got me out of more trouble than I care to mention. Got me into a fair amount of it too. I can always count on her to leave me out of hot water when I need to. I can feel it in my belly, you know? Sort of like a tugging sensation. I've long since learned to follow it. I wasn't aware that Toads took such direct control of their shamans. Usually they don't. Me and Rat, we have a sort of a special bond. She takes care of me and I've always done my best to take care of her. Another pair of beady eyes blinks up at you from Gobbet's hip. A second rat scurries up her shoulders to join the first. And to pamper her earthly children like these two. Meet Madness and Folly. Are they just normal rats then? I thought they might have been spirits or something. Nope, just rats. She brushes her fingers along the white rat's molded coat. Don't trust Folly, she bites. Do you always let your rats drink out of your own bowl? She shrugs. Sure, why not? We're all part of the same nest. Is that hygienic? Probably not, but I've never gotten sick, so... She raises an eyebrow, scoops a noodle out of the bowl, and pops it into her mouth with a satisfied smile. How'd you come across Madness and Folly? She raises an eyebrow. I looked outside. I mean, they're rats. Hong Kong isn't experiencing a rodent shortage or anything. So you just picked them off the street? Yep. They get them as rescue vermin. You could probably do the same if you wanted to. It's easy. Just walk into any alley and cool long after sundown and stick your hand in the first dumpster or storm drain that you come across. Keep fishing around until you touch fur. That sounds like a really bad idea. Yeah, in retrospect, it might have been. She continues to brush Folly's coat. The creature chirps happily at her touch. Odds are about 50-50 that you get your hand chewed off. I'd probably feel bad about that. You seem comfortable with all this. Been running the shadows for a while? She clips her chin. A long time. Started when I was just a kid. It's amazing you've lived this long. She rolls her shoulders, shrugs. Been lucky, I guess. Of course, the odds of you surviving as long as I have are pretty low. You don't even have anyone to show you. You didn't even have anyone to show you the ropes. You're pretty new at this. You and Duncan both. It shows. She takes a moment to study you. Slowly, her mouth tilts into a smirk. What you need is a wizened mentor. An experienced runner from whose experience you can benefit. I'm thinking that might as well be me. Sure, why not? I could use the advice, and I don't see Isabel volunteering for the job anytime soon. You're in? Good. Starting the next time you visit, I'm going to teach you all about being a Shadowrunner. She stifles a yawn. You're going to benefit from my bountiful wisdom. Experience. Wait and see. Lucky me. Gobbet stretches, stifles a yawn. Her rats scurry from her shoulders down to her hips. What the... She taps the simmering pot on the floor with her boot. The soup inside is reduced down to a thick, viscous gravy. You know, Seattle, this has been a nice chat and all, but it's getting late and I still have the rest of the hot pot to power through. So without warning, this is going to get awkward. She glances toward the door. Say no more. I'll get out of your hair. Take it easy, Gobbet. Yeah, you too. I don't even want to know what that is in that hot pot, and yet I'm kind of getting hungry right now. It's almost lunchtime. Let's go check out the Mish computer. Your workstation and Mish computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies you that you have 6 unread messages. Let's access the Shadowland BBS first and post the pay data. The exotic animal dealer contracts. And now let's search for the keywords. Missed connections. You, rappelling down the side of an unnamed luxury hotel in a ball gown on Monday night. Me, admiring the view from the 28th floor urinals during a private soiree for an unnamed corporation that I was infiltrating. Our eyes briefly met before you dropped out of sight. Your long, dark hair had come loose from your ching-nong, framing your beautiful flushed face. I will never forget it. You were carrying a duffel bag, bulging with stolen prototype weaponry. Well, I filched the intel that goes with it. Can we connect? Very funny, Blackjack. I'm sorry the job went sideways. I got trapped and had only one way out. We were supposed to have each other's backs. Just wait till you hear the way out that I had to take. We're gonna lay low for now. And why are we posting about this on a public message board? Terrorists in Hong Kong. Been hearing some buzz about some mainlander terrorists that showed up in Victoria Harbor and had a shootout with the HKPF the other day. Anyone hearing anything on that? Ming Pao says that there are 4 of them that got away. 1 human, 2 orcs, and a dwarf. A troll, an elf, and a human were all killed on the scene. Word is that they're members of the White Star out of Henan, coming here to start trouble against the Executive Council. Gobbit. Looks like there's a 50,000 yuan reward for any information leading to their capture. The HKPF seems pretty nervous about letting those bastards walk freely around the streets. You think they'd actually pay out to somebody like us? Not a chance. You walk in there to claim the reward, you're getting thrown into a hole with them. The HKPF doesn't keep promises to the sinless. Current to try? Why'd you have to be such a downer? Because I know the police. They're all dirty. They're only in to protect their paychecks, and they don't give a damn about anybody else. Believe me, I'm just looking out for your best interests. Like you and your triad looked out for my brother? You know he's still paying for his reconstructive surgery, you bastard. If a man wants to keep his teeth, he should pay what he owes rather than pull a gun on me. Simple as that. Poetry Slam. Ladies and gentlemen, poets and Shadowrunners, welcome to the first annual Shadowrun Poetry Slam. There are no rules and there is also no prizes except bragging rights. Without further ado, let the versification begin. Matrix Bard. How long do you think we can keep this going before the trolls show up or a sysadmin shut us down? Why would they shut us down? It's a free board. We can be poetic if we want to. Just trust me, it happens. For some reason, these things always draw the worst sort of attention. Are you gonna give us a poem, or are you gonna stand around complaining about why you can't? All right, I got one. Wait for it. Synth muscle, smart links, neural boosters, cyber limbs, all fall grenades. A little musing on the transience of life in the shadows. Very nice, sir. When the long shadows fall on Hong Kong, neon lights pierce the coming night. Tread with me the velvet blackness, let no lamp shine on our deeds. That one's entitled Our Hour. That might just have been the most pompous thing I've ever read. Try this on for size. Lasers are red, shadows are black. With Matt on the street, you best watch your back. My poem wasn't pompous, you uncultured rube. It was a homage to Wang Wei, the famous Tang Dynasty member of the Jiu form of poetry. It's traditional. Like the ridiculous limerick that you just posted. Now, I don't think that you have to take the word slam quite so literally. Hey, you people know the rules. Poetry slams have been out of bounds on this BBS since the Laughing Man debacle of 55. If you want to sling your fancy words, do it on a different forum. I'm shutting this thread down. Told you. Yeah, you might, Harlequin might have had some words about that. I don't know what happened, but it is hilarious. Walled City. I've got a courier job next week that's supposed to take me into the Walled City, and I'm from Kuala Lumpur, and I've never been to Hong Kong. But I hear that place is dangerous as hell. Anything that I should know? Oh, you got nothing to worry about. It's just a low-cost housing development full of hardworking people. Here, take a look at the news report. A short trick clip begins playing. This is Sunny Cheong with Horizon News. On today's Sunny Side Up, the Kulon Walled City. A blight on the free enterprise zone or a low-cost housing for the economically disadvantaged. We'll introduce you to some of the hard-working residents, how they live, and how they contribute to the growth and prosperity of our city. The montage sequence begins, showcasing the destitute poor of the Walled City going about their daily lives. The shots have been carefully chosen, showing only smiling and productive residents. Stark contrast to your own experience inside of it. Many residents of Hong Kong regard the Walled City as a place of no return. To the outsiders, it's the last stop on a long road to homelessness. Rumors abound of feral ghouls, unsafe living conditions, and triad extortion. Yet when we went there, the reality was far different. What we saw will shock you. Citizens of Hong Kong, working and living just like the rest of us. Their apartments are smaller and their shops are more modest, but the people who live here wouldn't be out of place anywhere in the FEZ, in the Fez. Citizens like shoemaker Cho Sang Sui. The scene cuts to an elderly man in a closet-sized stall filled with shoemaking equipment. He smells broadly at the camera. Oh, I love it here! We have a community, you know, we're like a family. Maybe we don't have a nice view as they do in Repulse Bay, but I can't imagine living anywhere else. It's not paradise, no, but it's my house. I grew up here. How could I possibly leave? The camera shifts back to Sunny Chung, who now stands in front of one of the entrances to Walled City. Contrary to popular opinion, the Walled City serves as a vital function. The poor and downtrodden find a home in the Walled City, a community where they have a voice, can work, even prosper. Far from being the eyesore that the video abruptly suddenly shutters, freezes, and ends. Okay, I decided to cut the rest of that crap. She keeps going on about what a good place the Walled City is and how we all need it. Don't buy any of it. It may not be hell, but you can see it from there. Freedom Cowboys just trying to get you into trouble. Oh, Isabel. So how do you know the real story? Because I grew up there. You know what it's really like? It's like eating old broth made of rat bones because there's nothing else. It's watching your neighbors sell their 5-year-old son to organ laggers so they don't starve to death. When you die in the Walled City, your neighbors cheer because they'll get the clothes off your back. I wouldn't wish the Walled City on my worst enemy. Thank God for Isabel saving that man. Okay, let's check the messages. Welcome to Hioi. From Conley Cheng to Shenzhen, subject welcome to Hioi. Shenzhen, on behalf of your friends at the Hioi Chamber of Commerce and the Swift Winds Mahjong Parlor, I welcome you to the community of Hioi and our new business venture. I've already lined up 3 jobs for you. The details for each are contained in a separate computer message. Remember to check your messages often, as I will update you with new opportunities as they occur. Auntie C. Mission computer. From Isabel to Shenzhen, your mission computer. Hey Shenzhen, I set up your mission computer to automatically collect and collate news reports, information, and media that might be of interest to you. Some of the keywords I've got it trolling for you are things like Raymond, Duncan, and Walled City, etc. I've also patched in a permanent link to the Hong Kong share of the Shadowrun BBS. It's a great place to connect with other runners, sell pay data, get news on the street, and so on. Don't be shy about taking a look. Resources. From Bao Jianjun, Shenzhen. Resources. I've been instructed to inform you of your various suppliers present in Hioi. Auntie Chen has cultivated a commercial district of well-stocked and trustworthy vendors. Whoever you choose to do business with, you will be in good hands. Erman Ka-Fai cultivated is an excellent resource in acquiring additional weapons should you require any. If you're in need of magical supplies, go to the Parlor of 5 Phases. If you desire trading in the path of the Adept, seek out Spider Shen. She can help you, as well as supply you with any close quarters weapons you might desire. Chrome Alley can supply you with cybernetic enhancements and medical supplies. The proprietor, Tenon D'Ambrose, is a cybersurgeon of some repute. Lost Techno Palace is a Wapoan-run supplier of the local decking community. The place is hard to miss. Just look for a sign glowing in the sky. If you need drones, Liable Matthews Robot Bazaar is your best bet, and I pity you. Best of luck in the shadows, and as fresh meat, you are likely to need it. Strangler Bao. Serial killer. From Kindly Tang, the Shenzhen subject serial killer. I've got a problem, Shenzhen, and you're going to help me solve it. I do a lot of business with the Wampoans. If you're not familiar with the term, I'll forgive you. You're an outsider, after all. The Wampoans are a tribe of techno-fetishists and deckers who've taken up the residence in the Wampoan Garden area of Hong Kong. They make and trade high-tech goods for people from all over the world. A lot of the UN passes through their pasty little fingers, and I make a lot of money brokering deals between them and the smugglers here in Hioi. I've had to hit a snag, though. The Wampoan elders, their council of leaders, are being eliminated by a serial killer. They've asked me to dispatch someone who can get to the bottom of it and stop the killings, and they're not taking their goods through my turf until I do. So you're going to be my proxy, dear. I don't care how you do it, but I need those murders stopped. The Wampoans have a delegate here in Hioi by the name of Maximum Law. Speak with him if you wish to know about the Wampoa. He's got a big mouth, but he knows very little of importance. Don't expect much from that half-empty bottle of vinegar. You get your ass to the Wampoan Garden and talk to the elders. Lie, cheat, and steal if you have to, so long as they're convinced that there won't be any more murders. I want my cut back, and I want it soon. Alright, we'll take the run. Oh, that was fast. Good. I'll tell the elders you're coming. They don't like outsiders, and they might not shoot at you if I don't warn them that you'll be arriving. Alright, back to route. Artifact Liberation. Welcome to the Shadows, Shenzhen. I've received a request from an archaeologist named Mr. Drake. He's interested in liberating certain artifacts from beneath a manor house in the Taipo. I've attached a copy of the video message he sent me. The screen flickers a few times and the email is replaced with the face of a stern-looking orc. Hello, Madam Cheng. I've heard that you're a woman who knows how to get things done, especially with regards to the things that aren't legal in the strictest sense. That's exactly the kind of help I'm looking for. Recently, a rich investor by the name of Liu Hua decided to expand his manor house on the outskirts of Taipo. Too much money, not enough space for fancy parties. He hit a snag with local government officials, however. They suspect that the land his estate was built on maybe had pre-modern archaeological artifacts buried beneath it, all of them dating back from the Song Dynasty. Consequently, I was contracted as an archaeologist to oversee the excavations and ensure everything was properly recorded in a catalog. Tombs lying beneath the site. The scope of the tombs was far beyond anything Leo or I expected. Several acres of catacombs, at least, are untouched and untouched relics throughout. What's more, they're certainly older than the Song Dynasty. They may even have been from the previous cycle of magic. Before I could make a report to the Free Enterprise Zone's authorities, however, Leo called in his allies in the Tai-10 Incorporated. Tantine. Leo sold the entire site to Tantine, who then leased it back to him. Because Tantine is considered to have extra territory in Hong Kong, local authorities were powerless to stop Leo from looting the tombs. He immediately began building a museum, if you can call it that, atop the site. He had the gall to call his museum the Emperor's Tomb. Can you believe it? The odds of there being an actual emperor buried there are basically nil. He doesn't care. Anything to sell a few tickets. Leo has continued his excavations, using Tang Tian contractors to expand the dig. What he didn't know was that I bucked his comic before he fired me. Based on what I've heard, something strange is going on in the lower levels. Workers have been disappearing only to be found dead several days later. Whatever is down there is too dangerous to be left in Leo's hands. Leo must have found my data line tapped, though. I stopped receiving any information 3 days ago. The last thing I heard him talking about was a pair of ancient texts that workers have discovered. Then he issued an order that further excavation should be halted until he can secure the subterranean areas. I'm betting those texts are the cause of whatever's killing the workers. I have quite a bit of experience with these kinds of dangerous excavations, but an operation of this scale is beyond me. I need a team that's tough enough to get in and survive, ain't afraid of making a mess, and who can get out with the books and whatever else they can carry. Beyond the two texts, I'm willing to pay very well for whatever other artifacts your team can liberate. The more valuable, the better. Don't worry, they'll be going to an actual museum, not some rich playboy's mansion. I've got a second program in place that'll suppress Leo's security system. The team will have to be careful, though. There are only so many alarms I can suppress. Go beyond that, and I'll screw up the mission. I've included a catalog of likely items to help the team appraise the most valuable ones. They don't need to be subtle. In fact, I prefer they make it look like a common robbery. Tell them to smash and grab what they can. Let me know when you find a suitable group of Shadowrunners. There you have it. A nice simple robbery. Do you think you can handle something that basic, dear? I have faith in you. Let me know when you're ready to proceed. I'll contact Mr. Drake when you're on your way. We'll take it. Excellent. I've attached directions to Leo's to stay in this message. Good luck. Don't fuck it up. Alright. I'll save the last mission for later. But, I think that would be a good place to stop for today, because, God, my throat's getting sore. But, yeah, I'm Dragon King Mark, and next time on Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut, Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. Sorry, I gotta get used to that. We're gonna go and possibly help out with the Wampoan Elders first. That sounds like a simple mission. We'll also check out the last mission just in case, and then decide that for later. But if you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon to stay notified, and I'll see all of you next time. Laters.